All right, everyone, so this week we're getting into an analysis of Michelangelo's David. I want you in this homework assignment to start by doing a small study of the David as this gesture armature where you've described the major parts of the David as these simple shapes. So the rib cage acting like a cube, the pelvis acting like a cube, different sections of the legs and arms being broken into cylinders. So we're maintaining that awareness that we can break down this complex thing into these simple shapes. And as we get into value in this upcoming week, maintaining that awareness is really going to help us. As you go through this process of establishing this gesture armature, begin with the envelope, start mapping in those major landmarks. You're checking your angles, you're running your plumb lines, you're checking your measurements. So you have your barbecue skewer out and you're making those various checks as you go along. This general foundation description of the David is then going to be the foundation for your more complex drawing where you start really mapping in a more specific contour. And once you've done that, we're going to get into the shadow mass. So we're branching into value in the next couple of weeks. And we're going to start by still working in this method of general to specific. So just like how we build up a general armature, then start to build up specific detail in the contour, we're doing the same thing as we get into value. So we're establishing first general information, shadow mass, establishing a to-value statement. So what does that mean? So with this shadow mass, I'm mapping in that entire shadow, and then I can see where all of the shadows are and where the lights are, just kind of graphic statement, right? When you lay in your shadow mass, you're squinting, you're getting that entire shadow shape, laying the entire thing in. And I'm taking my pencil and I'm doing this, okay? So I'm laying that exposed lead down and quickly planing in the value. You don't want to do it too dark, so it's a kind of lighter shade. You want to be able to later go back in and establish darker shadows like core shadows, occlusion shadows, and have those show up. So you're really just kind of lightly laying in that shadow mass so you can start to see and have this kind of roadmap of where your shadows and your lights are. So this is the homework for the week, and now you'll be able to watch my own process for this drawing.
Start by making a small study of the David as a gesture armature with the body described as simple shapes. Begin by creating an envelope shape that describes the general shape of this pose. Have your barbecue skewer handy as you draw. Check the angles of the major landmarks of the body, head, shoulders, ribcage, and pelvis. Run plumb lines to see where various parts of the body line up with one another. What parts of the David line up with the center line? Maintain the working method of establishing general information and gradually working up to specific detail. Once you've established a more refined contour around the gesture armature, begin to squint. Where are the shadows? Where is that terminator line that separates the shadow and light? Map in the shadow masses, the entire shape of the shadow. Use the whole side of your pencil, that long exposed piece of graphite. The shadow mass will be the foundation that we will build more complex value on top of in future lessons.